Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. A deep bow of gratitude to Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton for once again hosting this very special event for us. The first time we're doing it in person since 2019. So that's really great. Gratitude too to Diane Grillo, who waved her wand on Friday night to make sure that everything was extra special. And to Wendy Jones, who set everything up technologically so that we could actually broadcast this. So thank you so much. We're going to open. We're going to open with a blessing from our very own dear Sister Jane, a bedside harp certified, hospital certified master harp therapist since 2011, and who continues to soothe, comfort, and bring joy to so many with her harp's gentle tones.
We gather on this joyful day to honor the sacred journey we have embraced in Bedside Harp. We come from near and far to celebrate the unique stages of our harp therapy journey, which we have accomplished. In sacred writings, we read, "Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Be an instrument of all that is loving, and make gentle the ways of the world. Walk in love, work in love, live in love, be with your soul in love, tend to others' souls in love. Let us take the harp of our life and tune it to the notes of compassion and love. Let us play and pray in gratitude for the blessedness of our call to this sacred healing work."
Thank you, Sister Jane. And many thanks too to our amazing harp circle, whose music you heard as you were getting seated, led by our wonderful Noreen Stewart, formerly a bass player for 30 years with the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. Our harp circle, as all of our instructional and certification programs these days, is virtual. And that happened during lockdown. What to do when we couldn't see each other? We tuned into Zoom and we got together anyway, somehow practicing on Zoom, even though everybody's muted except Noreen. When we come together, we can actually play and sound good. So whatever she's doing an amazing job. Thank you, Noreen. And I thank all of you as well for sharing this very special day with us. Your encouragement, love, and support continues to make all of this possible. Diane Grillo, our 2009 bedside harp living legend, is the person who brought us to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in Hamilton 22 years ago, this next month. We met at a healthcare fair right after 9/11. And I played. I had a little brochure saying bedside harp because I wanted people immediately to have that image of what we do. although it was a dream at that time. And Diane invited me to her hospital, and the rest, as they say, is history. you know, I don't know if Bedside Harp would ever have sprung to life had it not been for the visionary Diane Grillo. So thank you, Diane, and please come up and say a few words. By the way, she's the only one at the hospital who was there when I first came. So I'm glad she's still there.
I can't believe how many years has passed. And when you say that, I still think I'm 20.
You need,
anyway.
you need to do it in
I'll do it over here.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So Edie, thank you for your kind words, but it really is more about the work that the harpists do that, makes me so happy. And we needed somebody like Edie who had that, she talked about me having the vision, but who had the sense of putting this together, because it's not easy to organize volunteers and have the sense that this is something that other hospitals, not only RWJ, want. So, I congratulate Edie, because I've always looked up to her, as the person who can really put something like this together, like across the state. So, congratulations to Edie and the work that she's done over this past 20-something years. But I have to say that the work that you do is so important. RWJ Hamilton had this vision about wellness in a broad sense, that it's not only about the work that we do within the hospital walls, but it's about the healing the mind, body, and spirit. And the HARP program was absolutely the perfect thing to bring to the hospital, and it fit into everything else, the vision that we had. You may know that we also have a partnership with the Grounds for Sculpture. So every entrance of the hospital, and this was way before, healing gardens. Now they're popular. 20-something years ago, it was something unique. So in every entrance of the hospital, J. Seward Johnson's Grounds for Healing come and play. Here in the Wellness Center, we built this. It'll be 20 years next year. So, it was really to have people come in, be healthy, keep them, emotionally and physically energized. We have some of the holistic programs that go on here, and Wendy and team do programs here. So it isn't just about the work that we do in the hospital, it's the work that we do outside the walls of the hospital that's important. And the harpists not only give their talent and share their talent with our patients, but it's our employees and our visitors as well. So when you look at the scope of the work that you do, it's for everyone who enters the walls of the hospital, including our physicians, is the work that you do. And the reason that I'm so grateful to Edie and all of you, and congratulations to all the graduates today and the other graduates that are in the audience. So thank you. I don't want to, I could definitely go on. No, I'm done. But this really is a sincere thank you to all of you and to Edie for all the work that you did and will continue to do.
So we're gathered here today in person to honor and celebrate everyone at Bedside Harp in our community, the hospitals and administrators that host our programs, our living legends, which is to say our Bedside Harp Hospital heroes, our newest living legend, our newest certified harp therapists, master harp therapists, and certified teachers, and our harp circlers, our instructional harp graduates, our instructional harp students, teachers, staff, everyone who has made Bedside Harp the entity that it is today. And I will tell you, I don't travel a whole lot, but I travel by Zoom, and people have heard of Bedside Harp. We have an amazing reputation, not only in the harp community, but also in the hospital communities. Everyone's heard of Bedside Harp, and it may have been, I may have started the ball rolling, but you guys kept it going, and I am so thankful for that. So the pandemic and the ensuing lockdown dealt a devastating blow to Bedside Harp, transformed us overnight. Before COVID, I could not have imagined that we would be teaching harp therapy, certification, instructional, harp circle virtually, but we're doing all of that. And now we have students hailing from all over the world as a result of that. We had someone in 2 certification classes ago from Dubai, and we have someone coming up in our spring 2024 from Hong Kong. So we are really spreading harp therapy throughout the world. So I want to tell you about a new instructional program that we came up with during this whole time. It's called Bedside Harp at Home, and it's all virtual, as everything is. And it was initially created for mothers who homeschool and who usually have very little time for their own healing and enjoyment and comfort. And I had created the program actually as at the request of one of our certification students, and literally overnight, I thought we were going to have 2 classes of 6 each. Very neat, we're going to have 6 people who never played any instrument before, and 6 people who had some background but not in harp. And overnight, we had 36 people sign up. So I was just overwhelmed, and people were begging to be part of this new program. And it now has run twice. I could never have done it without the 3 teachers that helped me do this and took some classes on their own. So Noreen, Lori, Patty, who am I missing? Is that it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for, oh, me. Yeah, I was, yeah, right. So anyway, thank you, because that is now, we've had 2 rounds of it. It's now an ongoing program. And it's just amazing how these moms, and many of them are from the West, from Utah, from Wyoming, from California, from Washington State, they're all playing the harp now, which is really incredible. And so thank you guys for making that happen. I met the Reverend John Marcantonio in late 2002. Back then, he was patient relations manager at Robert Wood Johnson in Rahway, New Jersey. He had heard about Bedside Harp here at the sister hospital in Hamilton and wanted to know more about our fledgling program. John and I met, and as I do when I go to all hospitals, after a brief meeting, I said to him, please take me to your patients. And because I want people to experience the responses that we get, I couldn't make these things up. So I know now, after all these years, that when I say that to an administrator, they're probably going to take me to their most challenging patient unit. And that day that I was with John was no different. He took me to a unit where they were working with weaning long-term ventilator-dependent patients. off of the ventilator, and it was a really tough unit. And so the first patient that we visited was a man, maybe in his late 50s. He was propped up again in a chair, looking very sad, very unhappy. And his wife was seated right opposite him. And the two of them, kind of looked up when I came to the doorway. And when I started playing, the patient suddenly broke out in this beautiful smile. And as soon as that happened, I'm playing, his wife jumped up and ran out of the room. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my, wrong song, what should I have done? But I continued to play. When I finished playing for the gentleman and came into the hallway, John told me that his wife came running into the hallway when she saw him smile, because it was the first time he smiled in all the months that he had been in the hospital. And it just touched her so deeply that she just didn't want him to see how touched he was by that. So that did it for John, too. His hospital became the second to contract with Bedside Harp. And I'm so honored that John, our 2008 living legend, is able to join us today through the wonders of technology.
I am so proud of my association with Bedside Harp through the certification program. Chances are some of you probably shared a dream with me. And I assure you that the respect and admiration I have for all of you is much greater than the space between us right now. Last weekend, I'm a big jazz fan and Billie Holiday fan, and last weekend I attended this moving performance called Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. It's sponsored by the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival at DeSales University. And setting of the play is a fictitious bar in Philadelphia in 1959, the year Billie Holiday died. So it's like the end of her life, and her cabaret license is rebuked, and she's playing in this small place, and she's telling her story, and she's drinking, and she leaves the stage to get a quick fix. And the actress does a great job. Not only singing like Billie Holiday, but singing like her at the end of her life, where her voice was rather raspy. In case you don't know, Billie had a very tragic life, filled with abuse, neglect, and addiction. But before her addictions took over her life, she was always backed up by the top musicians of her time. They wanted to play with her because she performed more like a fellow band member with her instrument, which is her voice, rather than someone merely being backed up by the band like other vocalists. And this performance brought me back 40 years when I was in the throes of depression. And during that time, those horrible months, the only ones I thought heard me or could speak to me were John Lennon and Billie Holiday, both naked and self-emptying artists, sharing their vulnerabilities and singing through their pain and addictions. It was not about the lyrics or even the melodies, but the tone and vibrations of Billie's voice and John Lennon's voice. Billie would wrap herself around a note rather than hitting it. And one with her singing voice, she projected a deep pain and isolation that at that time I could really relate to, that I thought she knew, she understood. And as strange as it sounds, she offered me a human connection, and in that moment, a ray of hope, even if for a moment. I've been privileged to know and work with Edie for over 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long. And thank goodness, Edie's life experience is little in common with Billie Holiday, except for one thing, and that is her musical mastery and being one with her instrument. I first met Edie in my office, and we talked a half hour, and it was like we always knew each other. And when we had to make the appeal to the management team for a contract, Billy didn't sit at the board table with a portfolio. No, she stood and said, "I like to speak with my harp." And there it is, because she is one with her harp. And I have seen Edie and her little harp work wonders in hospital rooms. The one she mentions, there are even greater ones than that. And again, it's more than her technical expertise and her decades of practice and experience. I think someone equally trained or even musically superior, playing the same notes, could not produce the outcomes that I witness. Her oneness with her harp comes from intentionality and mindfulness and the art of remaining in the present moment. Edie projects a genuine compassion and love in her heart wherever she is, to anyone in her presence. Graduates, your certification means you are ready to do and become the same. I know what a demanding taskmaster Edie can be, so my sympathy with all of you. But the fact that you are graduating says so much about your stamina and your dedication. You are trained as healers, not entertainers, and I dare from my profession, ministers working on sacred ground, where people are enduring pain, anxiety, and facing the greatest existential questions of their lives. In my 20-year career in healthcare, I was privileged to work with extraordinary people, from administrators, nurse aides, environmental staff, techs, food servers, techs, nurses, doctors, surgeons, all loving, caring, dedicated people. I also worked with people who unfortunately became jaded and burned out without even knowing it. All those noble aspirations that drove them into a caring profession were blurred, if not blotted out, by so many stressors, but really, in a word, a lack of self-care. Edie has provided you graduates and all you harpists with many tools so that you could remain sharp not only on your harp, but also in your personal spiritual life. Stay in tune with your inner selves so that what you project is never distorted. On sites, be ever mindful of your noble purpose. Stir up your compassion. Anchor yourselves in the present moment. Do this before you pluck a string so that the chord you strike makes an ever-loving difference. In a world of inane tweets, emojis, and misinterpreted text messages, thank you, spell check, and a world full of isolation and division, so many sit alone in their pain, their grief, and anxiety, longing for a healing moment that for some, only you can provide. Be one with your harp to the point where it speaks for you without much conscious effort. This takes practice. Be one with yourself. This also takes practice. Above all, take care of your precious self, because you are the living, nonverbal message for patients. They may not remember the melodies you played, but they will remember the deep human connection you made with them, a moment of empathy, a ray of hope, just the way I still remember those moments with Billie Holiday. Thank you for all that you are, for all that you do, and for all that you will do.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, all of you.
I'm going to hang up phone.
Okay, right.
Whew. That's great. So I first met Don Parker, and I think, is this it? Can you hear? I first met Don Parker, I think in 2014 or somewhere around there. We were both being interviewed on a New Jersey television station. And when he heard what we did at Bedside Harp, he told me he was going to bring me our program to Carrier Clinic, where he was president and CEO. Carrier Clinic is a 280 bed facility, psychiatric facility. And sure enough, a couple years after that first conversation we had, Don brought us to Carrier Clinic, and we've been there ever since. So in March 2020, when our country went into full lockdown, we had contracts with 6 hospitals. 5 of them closed down overnight. And so, what is Bedside Harp to do? One hospital kept us on, and that was Carrier Clinic. And I know Don was behind that. They saw us as essential workers, even though they have music therapists on their staff. We work differently from music therapists. So we are so grateful because we were able to continue to keep the fires going at Bedside Harp, really because of Carrier Clinic, and most especially because of Don. So Don was our 2017 living legend.
So I want to talk about why we did this. It was a very tough decision to make because most of the hospitals throughout the country were closing their doors as tight as they could get them. We didn't want to infect our patients any more than they already were, or cause them any other harm by coming to our hospital. But I knew the value of that harp. The harp does something called vibroacoustics. So it has vibrations. And when you're holding the harp, you're holding it against your chest, the breastplate right here. Now, what's under there is the thymus gland. And the thymus gland treats your cells. It pumps them up. It makes them stronger. It makes you resist things more effectively. And that we probably had the healthiest people in the hospital were our harp players. And so we kept that going on because we also knew that music and those vibrations were going to be important to our patients. We had actually done research about what was going on with Bedside Harp and how it was impacting our patients. Our sleeping scores went up 20% quality because of the harp. And it all started right here. So when you go mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa, you're pumping your thymus up. And so we pump the thymus up every day at Carrier Clinic. And that's what this is all about. This is what our relationship's about. This is what Edie is about. And very few people talk about that. We talk about the beauty of the music itself, but it really has scientific background and scientific impact on your thymus gland. And we'll help you do this. So I have a very brief couple comments. By the way, you're getting the back of a napkin, literally, here, because I had my speech ready. I had it in the car. My wife says, let's take your car so we can pick something up. And so halfway through, I was down in South Jersey where I lived during the weekend. I'm thinking, I don't have my speech. Where is it? So we had to pull over. I was driving. She jumped out. She drove. I'm in the car writing my speech as we go. So this literally is, I've never given a back of a napkin speech on anything in my life. But let me say to you that what the value is goes beyond what you think. So pumping up the thymus gland when we're treating, it also has an impact on energy and how energy flows through your system. And energy is important to all of us. And as we age, we lose some. It goes back to the thymus gland and how the thymus gland impacts us. And so if you are getting vibrations to that thymus gland every day, and it comes in different ways. So I got fascinated in 1975 with a process called progressive relaxation. It was a doctor named Jacobson had developed this, and you actually go through your entire body, you tighten the muscles, and then you relax them. and you do it to a calm scene. That's what happens with the heart. It's a calm scene, and a remarkable calm scene for anybody that's around. And by the way, it's most remarkable for those of you who play, because you are getting the direct vibration to your chest and to that thymus gland. So it helps you relax. It helps you have your relaxation response go into effect. Heart rate slows, blood pressure lowers, muscles relax. This is chemical reactions going on in your body as you're playing or listening. Pain lessens and circulation increases. Aren't those all the things that your doctor talks to you about? Or all the advertisements, if you're watching one of the daytime television shows, that's all they talk about, is all of these things. And it all comes magically through a heart. So if you're not listening to your music, if you're not understanding the effect of that, do that. It has had a remarkable impact on all of our patients, especially in how they sleep and how they relax. And by the way, how they interact with us. We have one of the lowest rates of patients requiring restraint and seclusion. And we, every day, we have 250 patients who are committed to our hospital, who are there against their will because they're a danger to self or others, mostly self. That behavior goes away. And a part of a big component of that is the heart. Now, I would also tell you the heart fits in with what we do, because we believe that we have a compassionate campus where our patients heal a lot of reasons because of who we are and where we are. And so when you drive in, we have 27 peacocks who greet you. They are part of our family. They're in the front. We just finished mating season, by the way. The origins of catcall. They sound like a cat when they're mating. The males do, and then the females scatter and run as fast as they can. But we start with that. We have horses, we have goats, we have donkeys, we have all kinds of animals around, chickens, and it's a menagerie. But that menagerie puts you at ease when you come onto the campus. It doesn't look or feel like a hospital. We've rebuilt most of the hospital. We're now finishing a wing for children. I can't wait to get our harpists into our wing for children. And this, unfortunately, I never thought I'd have to do this. Children under 12 years old who require hospitalization. Not what I thought. I want to end with this, and that is Erik Erikson is a psychologist that just about everybody in the room probably knows. If you've been into a psychology class, you heard about him. And he has the 8 stages of growth. And the first one is trust versus mistrust. And that happens between 6 months and a year and a half. And the baby depends on what? Body language. Our nurses, I was lecturing nurses about this a couple of months ago, and I said, so what do you do when you go home? You wear your mask. You're fastidious about it. We know that because we teach that. Go home, wear your mask, protect your family. If you got a child in that 6 months to 18 months time period, they've lost 60% of the communication that they use to learn how to trust or mistrust. If you don't solve it, and this is Erikson's theory, I don't agree with it completely, but if you don't solve it, you are going to trust too much or you're going to trust too little. And that will haunt you the rest of your life. So that's just one of those 8 stages. And 6 of these stages happen before you're 18 years old, all having a unexpected impact from COVID and not talked about by anybody. We talk about all the out and external issues that COVID has impacted us, but it's impacted us. So your work, by the way, is going to become more and more important, because if you don't trust or mistrust, how do you relax? How do you feel better about yourself? How do you do relaxation if you don't trust or mistrust? So you are going to be, hopefully we're going to keep, and Edie's going to do is keep building the ranks. And by the way, thank you, Edie. Over the Rainbow is my favorite song. It was my daughter's favorite song, who passed away 7 years ago. And so every time I'm at the carrier, I have, raise your hand, please. I have it wafts through the halls, and I get to hear it, and it makes me feel better that day, and it carries on. I have oxytocin in me, my heart, my thymus gland. I don't have to thump it in front of other people. It happens. and all that takes place. And so this is a wonderful thing. We're committed to this. We'll stay committed to this. I'm retiring in 5 months, but my successor is right on board to make sure that this continues to be what we do. So thank you very much, Edie. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. I didn't know you were retiring in 5 months. I learned a lot of things today. So you've heard me mention our Bedside Harp Living Legend Award. Let me tell you a little bit about it. We created it in 2005 to honor and express our deep gratitude to those hospital administrators who have supported our programs, our harp therapists, and the interns, and the work that we do. There have been 15 honorees through the years, and among them from this hospital is Christy Stevenson, former president and CEO, Diane Grillo, who brought us here all those years ago and spoke to you earlier, Kathy Gable, former director of volunteer services, Richard Freeman, president and CEO, and at our virtual graduation, it was Ted Taylor, director of chaplaincy and volunteer services. So once we were invited back to Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton, it was Ted who got us up and running. And once we got up and running, we started having interns, and more of us wanted to play at Hamilton because other hospitals weren't as open as Hamilton was at the time. And so Lisa Federick, who is the current director of volunteers at Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton, was unanimously voted to be our living legend of 2023. Please come up. It's helped and inspired and supported all of our harpists. Have to do something. All of our harpists, all of our interns, and everybody else in between. And we are so grateful to you, Lisa. And I want to award you. Yes. We are officially a living legend at Bedside.
Well, I will keep this short and sweet for several reasons. One is when Edie first mentioned this to me, I said, I think to myself, are you sure? This has to be the easiest award that I've ever received. And I don't say that lightly. I say that because I am just thrilled that Diane and Edie had the vision to bring it to RWJ Hamilton. I am thrilled that I have been able to continue. You heard the long list of living legends that precede me, that I can continue to build on that, because music speaks from your heart and it speaks to your heart. I've always believed seasons of your life are dictated by music. And if you think about it, you will realize, when I was this age and going through this, a certain song will bring back your feelings. The healing power of music. I hear the harpists come through. I can hear them come up the way, and my blood pressure automatically starts to come down. I walk through the hospital and I hear the music from, Connie, our newest intern, Beth, Darlene. What you do is intangible. It's tangible physically, but people don't realize it until they're experiencing it. You walk down the hall behind and I'll say ladies because the folks at our hospital right now are ladies, but gentlemen as well. You can see the faces of the people around. You can see the smiles. You can see the shoulders go from being up around their necks, coming down and settling in. I read Edie's special moments every month. I post them in our volunteer room because these are everyday people, visitors patients, staff members, visitors that all are experiencing the wonder of the bedside harp. And when I got to Hamilton, I didn't realize at first that the program was up and running because it was something I always wanted to bring to my previous organization. So needless to say, that's why this is easy for me. I just stepped in and said, okay, it's here, it's up and running, let's keep it going. So thank you so much to all of you, to our harpists, to Edie, to Diane for continuing to support. I will continue to support from in my small way to promote the health and wellness of all those around us. Thank you.
So there's one thing more that Lisa did for Bedside Harp. She bragged about our program to another hospital. And sure enough, we are in that hospital. Actually, it's 3 hospitals. It's the Jefferson Northeast group of 3 hospitals, Jefferson Bucks, Jefferson Torresdale, and Jefferson Frankfurt. And we love those hospitals as well. They just renewed our 2nd year there. So we're very thankful to you for that. So we who play our little harps in healthcare settings walk into the mystery of life and death and illness and pain and suffering every day. We don't see patient records. We're not aware of diagnoses or prognoses. We simply play, come to patient rooms, and we play our harps. We play from our heart with intention and love and no expectations. And we document our encounters and send them along with our notes to our administrators, which is what Lisa was referring to with regard to our special moments reports. And so here are some of our most incredible numbers. As of last month, we collectively played from the beginning of time, as some people will say, 32,162.5 hours at the 14 hospitals in New Jersey and Pennsylvania that have hosted our programs. I have personally played over 3,600 of those hours, which I'm very proud of. We keep track of our hours. We've done this from the beginning of Bedside Harp, largely due to my husband's telling me about pilots, because he's a pilot. And he said, you can go up to any pilot and they'll say, you know, I have 500 hours or 2,000 hours. And as I was putting things together for Bedside Harp, I thought that's pretty cool that you keep track of those hours. So everybody at Bedside Harp keeps track of the hours that we play at the bedside. We have given over 120,000 patients a one-on-one harp therapy session. And now over 1,000 people have learned to play the harp, the small therapy harp, the Bedside Harp. And we've trained nearly 200 harp therapists hailing from all over the United States and now, as I said, throughout the world. This month, we're going to begin working at our 15th hospital, Jersey Shore Medical Center in Neptune. And through these years as well, we've been so privileged to work with so many caring administrators. You've heard some of them today, nurses and staff, and as well as all of our precious students, instructional certification, who come to Bedside Harp to learn to play first for their own healing and enjoyment, and for many to then train and certify and become able to soothe others. There's truly something very special about a harp in healthcare, which is why it's our mission to do what we can to train as many as we can to serve in hospitals, cancer centers, rehabs, nursing homes, dementia units, and hospices. Our first level of certification training is pretty intense. It involves 144 classroom hours, reflections on readings and movies, 130 hour internship, and a 36-hour online course on ethics for therapeutic musicians, not to mention all the countless hours of practicing and documenting. In short, our first level graduates jump through a lot of hoops and overcome a great many fears and personal obstacles to achieve this valuable credential. Today, 7 of our students are graduating at this level. We also offer a Master Harp Therapist program, which kicks everything up several more notches, more reading and reflecting, more advanced music goals and repertoire building, another clinical internship, this time 120 hours, a 48-hour college course on research, 1 intensive classroom module, and a practicum project, which is both written and presented to one of our classes. Earning these certifications to serve the sick, the depressed, the anxious, and the dying is definitely not for the faint-hearted or easy, but we do it because all of us at Bedside Harp, it's our passion, it's our calling. 2 are graduating at the mastery level today. And we have a teacher training certification program as well for those who feel called to teach music the bedside harp way, which is to say, to teach in such a way to empower, encourage, and inspire everyone who wants to make music from the heart to have achieved this level today. And so we celebrate the truly significant achievements of these 11 graduates who have chosen to travel the sometimes lonely, sometimes frustrating, sometimes doubtful, sometimes joyous, and always rich path to serve from the heart. They've accomplished this because neither illness nor the highs and lows of their lives knocked them off course. And for that, we applaud you and are most admiring and grateful to you. Our graduates today will receive their certificate, a rose, a bedside harp handmade stole, blue for the first level of harp therapist, lavender for the mastery level, and indigo for our certified teachers. For our harp therapists, a medal, because of all the hoops that they had to jump through to get to this point. And everyone will receive a gift from me, a beautiful book on a heart-centered self-care practice called Morning Altars, as well as a $50 gift certificate from Virginia Harp Center, to whom we are so grateful for recognizing and celebrating our graduates every year. Our harp therapists receive 2 designations now, certified harp therapist or certified master harp therapist, and also certified therapeutic musician or certified master therapeutic musician, since we and the 4 other programs accredited by the National Standards Board of Therapeutic Musicians are working toward standardizing the name of all of our credentials. And so we begin by recognizing our first level graduates. Those in person will come up and receive your certifications and your graduation gifts. So we begin with Connie Arcella. Connie, against all odds, and I emphasize all odds, sacrifices, challenges, and even tragedy, has rather miraculously accomplished her first level of certification. Many, many congratulations. Diane Milanese is not here. She wasn't sure whether she could come or not. She actually earned her credential a number of years ago, but she was minus one requirement. And now, having fulfilled everything, she is now definitely a certified harp therapist. Terry Thomas Primer, who managed to play all of her required internship hours during the lockdown because she worked at a Pennsylvania long-term facility as a chaplain. She's since moved to Maryland and is here with us today to receive her certificate in person. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh. Every time. Take good care. So through the years, I've had the privilege of bearing witness to our students' rather extraordinary journeys to certification. While everybody comes to our program with the dream of being able to serve with their harp, most worry whether they will be able to play well enough to be able to do this extraordinary work. My job is to let them know that yes, they most certainly can. Darlene Tomlinson is unable to be with us today, but I believe she surprised herself over the countless patients, worried well, and staff she has blessed with her little harp here at Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton. So if you're tuned in today, Darlene, and I think you are, you did it. You are now a hospital certified harp therapist, as well as a hospital certified therapeutic musician. Congratulations. And you have some people here, Darlene, that I would ask to come up because they expected you to be here. And they just want you to know that they're here and they're ready to celebrate. You did it. Yeah. Congratulations. We really are a family here at Bedside Harp. It's so phenomenal. So, and this next group of certified harp therapists, kind of underscore what I just said. David Penn is from Georgia. Roberta Phillips is from Illinois. And Suzanne Doherty is from Florida. And each of them now is a certified harp therapist and certified therapeutic musician. They've never met in person, but one thing they did is they met every week, no matter what, to inspire each other, to listen to each other's complaints and worries, and they supported each other, and they really have managed to earn their certifications in record time. They're graduating today because they kept each other going. And so congratulations, David, Roberta, and Suzanne. Two graduates are at the mastery level, Yoshi Polovich and Rini Sachs, also paired up years ago, saw each other through their first level of certification and now their mastery level of certification. Yoshi played all of her hours at Bergen New Bridge Medical Center in Paramus, where we worked until the pandemic, and today is awarded her hard-earned hospital certified master harp therapist and hospital certified master therapeutic musician designations. Congratulations, Yoshi. Before the pandemic began, Rini was playing most all of her internship hours at Robert Wood Johnson in Rahway, where we've been since 2003. She had about 30 hours or so to go when everything shut down. That didn't stop Rini. Rini is a retired school principal and teacher, so she wound up taking her harp over to a park at times and played even over Zoom. She played for children, for grown-ups, for whomever she could. And just a few months ago, finished up her last required hours at Carrier Clinic, where she now works as a master harp therapist for Bedside Harp as an official professional. She formally graduates today as a hospital certified master harp therapist and hospital certified therapeutic musician. Many congratulations.
I'm so excited. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. Ooh, presents too. Thank you. Thank you. My goodness. What a day. Okay. Thank you.
It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, one of our mastery graduates will ask me about our teacher training program and certification program. And using my method of teaching adults harp basics and how to use the harp for their own healing and enjoyment, our teacher certification program involves even more commitment, learning the Bedside Harp instructional program curriculum, methods, and repertoire, music theory, observing others teach, and teaching on their own. Lori Craig completed her requirements last year, and for the past year has been teaching our Bedside Harp at home classes. So Lori, congratulations. You're now officially graduated with your teacher certification. Thank you. If I know Patty Williams as well as I think I do. I would bet she's sitting over there thinking, I'm not going to call her name, but I am. Patty finished up teaching her teaching internship as a mentor in our Bedside Harp at Home classes. Patty, come up and collect your well-earned certification and all the goodies. You did it. You really did it. There you go. Your indigo stole.
Congratulations.
So I really could never have done anything, even created Bedside Harp, without my husband's support and love and caring and tolerance. He has really shared this dream with me. So thank you, Matt. And so now a tradition that I practice as a mindfulness meditation teacher is to say what I'm about to say to all whom I've taught, mentored, and or worked alongside of. My dear students, graduates, mentees, colleagues, you and I have traveled wondrous places together. You've touched my heart and made my life all the sweeter. I want you to know how much each one of you means to me. If I have disappointed you or harmed you in any way, knowingly or unknowingly, I ask for your forgiveness. I want only the very best for you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your time, your talents, and your life with me. Thank you. So we move now to recite our oath of service found on page 3 of your program, and will the certification former and new graduates please rise and recite with me our oath of service on page 3 of your program. I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment this covenant. I will use my harp to the best of my ability to serve those who call me to their side. I will treat all whom I serve with honor, warmth, understanding, compassion, and love. I and each person I serve are equals. We are, each of us, connected to each other. All suffering is like my suffering. All joy is like my joy. I commit myself to a lifetime of learning and professional and personal growth. My training and experience will be used to benefit all whom I serve. I will not be ashamed to say I do not know, nor will I fail to ask for help, seek advice when needed. I will respect the privacy of those whom I serve. Their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. If it is given to me to serve through birth or through a death, all thanks. I will face such awesome responsibility with great humbleness and awareness of my own frailty. I will remember that service is the work of the soul, resting on the premise that life is a holy mystery whose purpose is unknown. I will respect the hard-won gains of those who have brought music and other arts to healthcare, those who have gone before me and in whose steps I walk. I will gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings, those of sound mind and body, as well as the infirm. May I enjoy life, music, art, poetry, love of family and friends, respected while I live, and remembered with affection thereafter. May I always act to prefer the finest truth of my calling, and may I long experience the joy of serving those who wish me to be by their side. Thank you. So one more tradition at Bedside Harp is to sing the song written by Debbie Friedman, "And You Shall Be a Blessing," to our newest graduates as they set out on their journeys to bless thousands more with their sweet notes. We're so grateful that Connie Arcella, one of our graduates, will sing it to her fellow graduates as well as to herself, and then lead all of us to sing it to everyone as well. You can find the words on the inside back cover of your programs on page 7.
Okay. Lily, Lord, to a I will show you. Take the heart to a place you do not know. On your journey will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, Lady Lord. Lady Lord, your name great. Lady Lord, praise your name. Lady Lord, you and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, baby Lord. May he to I will show Lord, to a place you do not know. On your journey, bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, Lady Lord.
Pretty incredible. We never practiced together. That was the first time we ever did that together. So thank you, Connie. That was great. Sister Jane Urban offers us a closing benediction, and I hope you will join us afterward for a reception hosted by Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton to celebrate everyone at Bedside Harp. Thank you so much for making this a most amazing day.
Ancient and holy mystery, forever gliding through the ages, your presence resounds in the beating heart of all creation. You are the steady rhythm of enduring love. In the landscapes of our being, make us your instruments of healing service. Through the open form of our hearts, call forth from us a symphony of praise. Sing in us your compassionate love.
And thank you everyone who are here in person. And again, thank you all who have joined us through Zoom, the wonders of technology. And those of you through Zoom, I hope I can hug you personally at some point. Thank you and so long.